And welcome back. This is part 4 of the lesson on arrays. We're going to skip a few of these slides and see if we can end this lesson in 4 videos. So here goes. There is a example about using arrays in the gradebook. We've done a couple examples in already, and we're going to kind of skip this example pretty quickly. It does declare the int array. Private, I think we talked about private in class, private versus public. Grades is the grades array, which gets passed as parameter. We're gonna skip passing these as parameters because that's really, we're just not there yet. So we have once again the for each loop, which goes through every grade in the array called grades. And again, and here's another for each, and another for each. So it's computing some averages, things like that. Like I said, we're kind of gonna not talk too much about this example. There's another array declaration, and array grades array. There we declare it. We initialize it right at that time. Multi-dimensional arrays. I'm going to talk about this really quick, but we're not going to spend a whole lot of time as well on multi-dimensional arrays. Multi-dimensional arrays are like a chart where they have an across value and an up and down value. They have rows and columns. So we don't say like array square bracket 3 to get the fourth, 0th, 1, 2, 3. We say arrays square bracket 3 comma 4, right, to get the third over, fourth one down, rows and columns. We won't use multi-dimensional arrays very much. In this class, there might be one homework problem about multi-dimensional arrays. So here's an example. In the top left, we have the array element, the 0, comma 0, okay, row, column, RC. I always remember RC, like RC Cola, as my trick to remember rows first, then columns. So 1, 2 is row 1, column 2. And again, row 1, you might think it's the top, but it's actually row 0, 1, row 1, row 2. So that's how we use multi-dimensional arrays. We can declare them like this. This makes a 2 by 2. Okay. Just don't worry that it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This has 1 and this is the first row. This is the second row. The values are grouped by row. So this is the top row. This is the second row. We're giving it a list of values in the first row, list of values in the second row. They should always be the same if we declare it like this. This is a jagged array. Okay, they're not the same. Okay, it doesn't have the same number of columns in each row. That's allowed. It's kind of rare. I can't think of a good reason to use it, but you could. And it would look like this. Here we are creating a 3 by 4, 3 rows, 4 columns. And here's a really strange, rare way to create a jagged array. Here's an example of declaring a rectangular array and an example of declaring a jagged array. And then we go through and we print the results. And it shows like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, a gradebook example. This just shows we have a rectangular array of student grades. And one of the, I think each row is a student, and each column is the assignment or the exam number. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on this example. We've talked about arrays quite a bit. Here's the data. So each row is a student. Each column is test number 1, test number 2, test number 3. And we can figure the average. Figure out which one's the lowest, figure out which one's the highest. Variable length argument lists. When we call a program or call a method or function that takes variable length arguments, the best example of this is a lot of programs that you can run from the command line. Either they can take one argument, more than one argument. You have a variable number of arguments. You could say like -f means something, things like that. If you're not used to running programs from the command line, that might not make a lot of sense to you, but that's the best example that I can think of. And also, our main has an array called args in it. You can see it right here. Public static void main string array args. So if we ran our program from the command line, it could have a variable number of arguments. Alright, this one is averaging a variable number of arrays, however many we pass. So average of these 2, average of these 3, average of these 4. The method is able to accept a variable number of arguments. Rare, but interesting and useful. Command line arguments. This is kind of what I was talking about before, running a program from the command line. It's kind of rare these days. You know, most things are Windows apps. Very few things are run from the DOS command prompt, but they could be. And here's an example that says we expect 3 arguments. The array size, the initial value, and the increment. And it does some stuff with those. the specifics of this example are really not very relevant. And then is the end. So the big thing to remember is arrays. We have to give it the index value in the square brackets, and they start at 0. We will review arrays and go on from here in class on Wednesday. Hope to see you there. Thanks. Bye.